Hey everyone, this is Anam. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'll be discussing the summary of my childhood from the book Beehive of class 9. My childhood is a chapter taken from the autobiography of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Abdul Kalam was born on 15th October 1931 into a middle-class Tamil family in the island town of Rameshwaram. In the beginning, he talks about his parents. His parents were Janulabdin and Ashiyamma. He says that both his parents, they were neither formally educated nor wealthy, but yet they possessed some great qualities. About his father, he says, he possessed great innate wisdom and true generosity of spirit. So we understand that his father was a very wise man and he was also very generous. He was always ready to help anyone who needed him. About his mother, he says, she fed far more outsiders than family members every day. So we understand that she was a very kind lady. Then Kalam talks about himself. He says that he was one of many siblings. He had many brothers and sisters. He was a short boy with rather undistinguished looks. He says that he was born to good-looking parents. Both his parents were tall, but he was a short boy with rather undistinguished looks. Distinguished means very ordinary. He lived in their ancestral house in the Mosque Street, Rameshwaram. Then he talks about his childhood. He says that his childhood was emotionally and materially secure. His father was a strict disciplinarian. He provided for all their necessities like food, medicine, clothes, but he avoided all the luxuries. He didn't want to spoil his children, so he avoided all the unnecessary things. Yet Abdul Kalam says that he felt both emotionally and materially secured. This shows that he had great sense of gratitude towards his parents. Then he tells us about his first earnings. He says, when the World War II broke out in 1939, the demand for tamarind seeds erupted in the market. Tamarind is imli. Kalam used to collect the seeds and sell them to a provision shop in the Mosque Street. That's how he earned for the first time. And he says he felt very good about it. Then he speaks about his first job. He got his first job through his cousin Samsuddin. Samsuddin was a newspaper vendor. Every day, he used to collect the newspaper bundles from the railway station when the train arrived. So this train, it stopped at the Rameshwaram railway station for some time, and Samsuddin had enough time to get into the train and collect the newspaper bundles. But during the World War II, the train halt at Rameshwaram was suspended. Now the train no longer stopped at the station. The newspapers had to be bundled and thrown out of the moving train. So obviously Samsuddin at that time he needed a helping hand, so he offered Kalam to work for him. Then he tells about some characteristics, some qualities that he inherited from his parents. Kalam believed that every child inherits some qualities from his parents. So he says from his father, he inherited honesty and self-discipline, and from his mother, he inherited faith in goodness and deep kindness. All these questions are very important, that which qualities did he inherit from his parents? How did he earn his first wages? Then he talks about his childhood friends. He had 3 best friends in his childhood: Ramanand Shastri, Arvindan and Shiv Prakasan. Ramanand Shastri was the son of the high priest of Rameshwaram temple. Later, he took over the priesthood. So when his father got retired, he became the priest of the same temple. Ravindan started a transport business. He arranged transport for visiting pilgrims. Pilgrim means Tirthyatri. Rameshwaram is a very famous pilgrimage center. Every year, Many pilgrims go there. So he got into this transport business. Shiv Prakasan became a catering contractor for the railways. Catering means providing food. So, when you travel in the railways, you must have seen that people get these, boxes of packed food. So, yeah, Shiv Prakasan became a catering contractor. He says that when they were growing up, they grew up in a very secular environment. People of all religions lived in harmony. Nobody discriminated against one another on the basis of religion. They celebrated all the festivals with equal amount of enthusiasm. They took part in all the festivities. And he also says that their bedtime stories included events from the Ramayana as well as from the life of the Prophet Muhammad. So this shows that their parents, they taught their children to respect all the religions equally. Then he mentions an incident from his elementary school. When they were small children, they would go to a school, and as you can see in the picture, most of the boys were Hindus. And in fact, Kalam was the only Muslim boy in the class. So they were all friends. Nobody discriminated on the basis of religion. And like I said, he had three best friends. All the three boys, Ramanand Shastri, Arvindan, and Shiv Prakasan, they all belonged to Orthodox Hindu families, right? Still, they were best friends. But a newly appointed teacher came to their class, and when he figured out that Kalam was a Muslim, since Kalam wore a cap on his head. So when this teacher figured out that Kalam was a Muslim, he discriminated against him. He told him to get up and sit in a corner. So this incident had a lasting impression on Kalam's mind, and he says that he clearly remembered when he was told to go and sit in the corner. He could see tears in the eyes of his friend Ramadhan Shastri. This shows that these children, these two boys, they shared a close bond of love and friendship. In fact, all the boys, none of them liked the teacher's misconduct towards Kalam. But obviously, they were small children; they couldn't say anything to the teacher at that time. But when they returned to their homes, both Ramdhan as well as Abdul Kalam, they narrated this incident to their respective parents. Lakshman Shastri, who was the high priest of Rameshwaram, and he was Ramnand Shastri's father also. He called this young teacher, he rebuked him. He said that as a teacher, his duty was to teach his pupils all the good things. He shouldn't spread his poison, in their minds, in the minds of these young children. So he realized his mistake, and the priest also told the teacher to apologize to Kalam for his misconduct, and he did so. Another incident which Kalam mentions, it was about his science teacher, Subramaniam Iyer. Kalam and his teacher, they were very close to each other, and his teacher loved him. He often said that one day Kalam would do something great in his life. So what happened, once he invited him to his house for a meal. When Kalam went to his house and the teacher's wife saw that Kalam was a Muslim boy, she got furious. She didn't like it at all, and she refused to feed Abdul. She even didn't allow him to enter her kitchen. Subramaniam Swami, he maintained his calm. He didn't say anything to his wife at that time, but so lovingly he fed Abdul with his own hands. He served him and he sat next to him, and both of them ate. When Abdul was leaving after the meal, his teacher invited him again. He said, "Okay, Abdul, come next week also, we'll have dinner together." Obviously, Abdul Kalam hesitated because he had understood that his wife didn't like him, and he did not want to spoil the peace of his house. He didn't want to upset his wife. So he hesitated. He couldn't say anything. At that point, his teacher said that, "Abdul, if you want to change the mentality of people, then you cannot run from such incidents. You have to learn to confront such people, and then only you can change the mindset of society, of such people. Abdul Kalam agreed, and next week, when he came to his house for dinner, he was pleased to see the changed attitude of his wife towards him. She had changed altogether. She had realized her mistake, and this time she served Abdul with her own hands. At last, he talks about his leaving the town Rameshwaram. As he was growing up and he wanted to continue with his education, he wanted to pursue science. And since Rameshwaram was a small town, many options were not available there for him. So he decided to move to the district headquarters in Ramnathpuram. When he shared his plans with his parents, his mother was very hesitant at first. She didn't want, she didn't want him to go away. She was worried. How would he manage all alone? Who would look after him? Because for her, he was still his small boy, but his father supported him. And he told his mother also that yes, Abdul was their child. He came through them into this world, but that doesn't mean that they have the right to control him. They have to give him enough freedom to decide for himself and to do something good in his life, to stand on his own feet. He also quoted Khalil Gibran, "Does the seagull not fly across the sun alone and without a nest?" So he said, even birds, they also have to their nest. They cannot live forever under the wings of their parents. So when the right time comes, they also have to leave their nest and fly in the sky themselves. So yeah, this was all about it. This was the summary. If you liked the video, then please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you.